Welcome to Living the Dream Iowa Life. I'm your host, Hannah Nuss, and each weekday we'll share enthusiasm for what's possible and dive into the stories of Iowans living their dream lives right here in the heartland. Whether you're chasing a big goal or just looking for a little inspiration, we've got you covered. Let's change the world together. This is Living the Dream Iowa Life. Let's go. Heyo, welcome to Living the Dream Iowa Life podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Nuss. I don't know. Today we are going to, again, we're rising that level every weekday. And if you want to continue that experience and dive even deeper, I do have all of the posts and conversation happening in our Rooted and Rising community. You can go ahead and join that. That gives you the weekend expansion. It also gives you a private ability to talk through some of these things with me and then also with our community. So feel free to check that out. It's on my socials somewhere, but you can join that community and we can root and rise together even deeper than we do here on the podcast. If you want more of that connection, but you're not quite ready to step into one-on-one coaching with me because it's not coaching, one-on-one guiding with me because, are you ready to do the thing? Are you ready to do it? No? Okay, then stay away. Stay away. Do not engage. Do not engage the enthusiasts because we will get you there. If you're not quite ready for that, but you're ready for a little bit more, that's a great place to do that and expand and do it privately without the expense of additional scrolls and stealing of your time. Check in, check right back out. Go ahead and check that out whenever you're feeling ready, feeling called, wanting to move. Okay, so today, what is this as a question? Because I'm like, we're stepping into our power. We're owning where we need to go. We're coming up into this beginning, this new life, this yum. It's delicious. Can't wait. We're doing that. And when we're doing that, I feel like sometimes it's hard to find the words. And I help a lot of people move into this new narrative of themselves. And when we're not practicing that, the words are difficult, especially when your world is not words. And so I like to help people find their way to that narrative. And sometimes we can't envision that for ourselves. It's definitely hard. So I guess today's question is, what is the vision that you have for your life? In your most powerful, capable, accountable, beautiful, fully living, expanded human experience, what is that vision? What is that vision? What are you doing? How do you move through your day? Who are you? And then putting words to that vision can be kind of hard. We can imagine the day, we can imagine what we're doing, but like, how do we move through it? And if someone had to describe us as our most expansive self, how would they describe us? Who are we? What are we doing? And even more than that, how are we being? And someone had described me to myself the other day, and I was taken aback because they have only known me in this new state. And I've lived so much of my life in the old state that sometimes it's sort of that body dysphoria. Is that what it's called? Is it dysphoria? That's not it. Either way, right? Like if you were an anorexic and I still have problems, when people state back to me that I am thin and my body looks great, so I don't see that. still. And I think in this same way, we know that we're different, but having someone experience us as different and describe that back, I think sometimes is a real game changer. And so someone had described me as this like very family centered human. And I was like, whoa, yeah, I am now. But I wasn't for such a long time that it is wild to hear that back. So today, I want you to start hearing that back in someone else's words. And you say, oh, Hannah, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to go ask a coworker to like explain who I am, to help me come into my power so that I start stepping into my full realized vision of myself. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, fine. Maybe we aren't close enough with someone that we can have that conversation, or we don't have strong enough people around us to be able to reflect back what they're seeing from us. Fine. Fine. We aren't even gonna play with that. Here's a really great exercise. And I remember Googling myself early on, which sounds so weird to say, and there not being a whole lot other than athletics. And when I did that, I was like, man, I want to be more than this. I want to contribute in a way that has this kind of response from the world that the world definitely notices, is newsworthy. I definitely want that. I loved that about athletics. I love that about making an impact, that there is something that you're doing something enough to kind of grab that attention, to demand that attention. And listen, I am no longer fighting this. I am a Leo sun and moon. Okay? There are stages, and I am certain there are not enough of them for who I naturally am. And one time my husband was like, you just like all the attention? You just like all, I'm like, yeah, I do. I loved athletics for that. I loved the energy of a crowd. I love the energy and the thought of you and I hanging out and we're like figuring stuff out. I love that. And there isn't anything like that other than creating something that is newsworthy, creating something that is worth a buzz. I loved PR for that. I loved the kind of need for words and story and impact. That's what I got to communicate as a professional. And now I feel like that's what I communicate all of the time. So, in case we need a reminder of who we are going to be when we get there, or of who we want to be. So, when I Google myself and I find nothing, what do I want that Google search to look like? And you might be going, well, Hannah, that's not really what you talk about. You talk about family. And I'm telling you, once you have that taken care of, once you really are balancing family and life, we don't have to be a martyr about it. It doesn't have to be all that we are. Like I absolutely love spending time with my kids, my husband, my family. I think it is so great. I lived another human life where I thought it was maybe one of the worst things that I could do with my time because of how unpresent I was. It wasn't enjoyable because I was working anyways, but now I had this distraction. And so it really wasn't that great. Now it is. I love balancing and flowing and having these people in my life as a part of the work that I do, because without them, there really is no reason to expand, to grow. Like I am growing my community for my kids. Period. for their kids, to enrich the legacy of who they are and what they were a part of and what their bloodline means. Like, okay, great. Yeah, I'm growing the community for the community, but at the end of every day, it's for these two. What are they coming back to? What do they have? What memories do they have here? Because I didn't really have enough in my hometown worth going back to. I had my home. I had a bakery that closed down and a now nearly abandoned Main Street. Yeah. And so, right? Who do we want to be? And I know, we're gonna fill in all of that be stuff. I take care of my home. I'm a great friend and family member. All those things. Okay, we're gonna assume that's good. Then who are you? We're gonna assume who you are inside your home is buttoned up. Okay, because unless it is, we got to come into power there. We got to know who we are there, what our role is there before we can go out and start helping the rest of the world. Okay. So we're assuming that's buttoned up. And now we can start expanding our world. We can start coming into our power outside of our safe place, our home. We can create a safe place outside of that home. We can start extending our arms and accepting other people, other opportunities. So great. Now, what do we want the Google search bar to say? What do we want? And so I used to do this through Google. Now I would say that AI is a really great way to practice this if you don't have someone to kind of feed that back to you. Okay. And if you just want to know what the world is writing about you, this is a great place to do that. Yeah. So great. And so there we go. There we are. We have arrived. And now we're going to put into maybe the Google search just to see what's out there about you. Okay. Is it just a weird Instagram profile? Cool. Like, yes, let's be as weird as we want. That is the beauty of being able to connect with the rest of the world. We don't have to sort of be secluded in our weirdness. There's a way to connect with people who are equally as weird about the same things. Like, yes, I love it. I love business and growth, and it's so terrible but fun, and I love it, and I love being around people who love it too. And guess what? Most of the world doesn't, and you're super weird. But there's a group of people who do, and I bet you can find them. So, whatever that pulls up about you, now I want you to think about if you were stepping into your full power, what is this Google search pulling up on you? What is it finding about you? Is there anything? And if you don't want to live your life that way, it's not imperative that there ever is. But for me, I remember early on doing my Google search and being like, but I'm so much more than this. Or at least I want to be. I want to be more than my Uncle Rico flashback newspaper articles about my high school career, my college career. I want to be more than that. I want to be more than that identity. I want to be more than Uncle Rico. And he's super cool and he's got a cool van and like big rings and stuff. But I don't want to have to live in what was forever. I don't want to push that onto my kids and force them into living out my what was, what wasn't. I don't want to do that. I want to live fully expanded with the being that I am right now. So this Google search isn't all that I am and all that I am capable of. So then I start setting on this sort of voyage. All right, we're going to change what the internet interprets me as. We're going to change that. And so once in a while, I will do this practice because it is very empowering. It is. And it's important to continue in your vision work. Who do you want to be and how much closer are you to that? And so now I can type into my favorite AI, who is Hannah Nuss? And the description of who I am sort of almost takes my breath away a little bit. And hopefully nobody has the same name as you. Sometimes you have to get very specific with it if you haven't quite, put it all out there. Now, I'm very active on socials. Obviously, we have this platform. So I have a book. There are a lot of ways to find me if you're crawling the internet at this point. Ask my daughter's flag football coach. You can find me if I am lost. So there are ways to find me. And I was super proud at my most recent poll of my information of who the internet thinks that I am at this point. And I was like, wow, that is exactly what I imagined 7 years ago, and even better. Even better. Because I didn't really have a full concept of what local would be. I didn't have a full concept of how or what were all the things that I was going to end up venturing into. I had no idea how to kind of grow all the ideas in my brain and bring them all together. And so to see them beautifully weaved in this interpretation of what the internet can find about me is a really cool thing to let yourself explore. And if you're not at that point, so I will say 7 years ago, I was typing my name into a Google search bar and barely coming up with local newspaper stories about my high school volleyball experience, and barely even finding those. So there just wasn't a whole lot around my name, around who I am. And so I definitely took it upon myself to be more intentional about writing that narrative, ensuring that search brings me up. It brings up more, like bury those articles, bury the Uncle Rico past of who I was supposed to be in this life, and be who I am. And let that pull up. And now it does. And it pulls up this really great photo of me that makes it look like I am this really important person who has done really incredible things. And that really is the power of utilizing AI, because even if you're not there yet, it can start to paint the picture of what it would sound like when you are. And I know I just said, oh, it makes me seem like I'm this big, important person. And when I am, because I am, like if we're stepping into this full power moment, and that really is what we have to do, step into it. We're doing it. Yes. Come on. I'm punching you because you just got an awesome kill. And I'm so happy that you're on my team. And we're amazing. Let's freaking go. Sorry, volleyball. Don't mind me. You just, yeah. Let's go. And we have to come into that. And I am all for being humble. Like, I will tell you that I will be the first one to admit that I really know nothing, that I have basically just worked my way into understanding all of this. I read, I researched, and then I did and put it all together. Strung it all together here somehow. Do I have fancy degrees? Yeah, I guess. I am college educated. I do have my master's degree. So maybe. I can't say that I remember any of the things that I learned and that I actively apply them to anything that I am doing. But I suppose I sat in classrooms for a long enough time to collect a degree that some of you might think is important. But I will say that the most valuable has been working, figuring out how to follow my own lead, figuring out how to let intention kind of guide and poke and prod me into where I'm supposed to be, figuring out where I wanted to go next, where I felt called, figuring out how to self motivate, figuring out how to roll with it, figuring out how to structure my days. And I don't know, as much as I want to discredit myself and be like, well, I mean, there's no real value in any of that. I didn't take a bunch of classes and courses. I just kind of would watch. I actually had to cut myself off from researching too much. Like, okay, we know enough. We know enough to go. Let's just go. And because I definitely learn best tried on. True entrepreneur, tried on, failing, falling, figuring out that I am an idiot all over again. I'm good. I'm good. Like, I'll figure that out a million times. It's good. It's good. Figuring out things through doing is, I think, one of the most important power steps that we can take. I think so often we stay in that kind of safe, creative space where we're like, it feels good and comfortable and creative. And I am a little bit higher up than I was before, and it feels good. I'm good here. I don't want to step into the power of this. I don't want to say what I really want. I don't want to move into that. Yikes. Right? Because if I say what I really want, then I got to step into my own power. And I got to figure out how to get that done. I don't want to do that. No. Run. Run. And I was telling a friend yesterday, listen, I had these moments where I'm like, oh, it's building. I know that we're almost there. And I remember kind of knowing exactly what was going to take me to the next level and just being like, oh, but I can't. I don't know what it's going to look like. And I don't know enough. And I think that's the perfect time to go when we don't know enough. Because if we know enough, we would never do these things. It's too wild. Not a chance. Success rate too low. Can't compute. No. Gonna fail. Gonna fall. It's gonna hurt. No. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to live that life. Pain? No. Pass. But every day that we're passing on that, we are passing actively on ourselves, on our truth, on who we really are meant to be here. And if we do that, we don't ever know. And we just keep recycling from root to create, to step into my power and maybe really say what I want to be, to cowering back, to rooting again, to changing what we root to, thinking that that's going to be the solution, and it's not. And yet we reroute anyways. No, it's going to be this next job. This next place. I feel better about this mission statement. Yeah, I really think this company lives their values. I really do. The last 4 didn't, but this one seems different because they sent a Christmas card. They must be family-based and valued. Yeah. Okay. This feels better. More PTO, so I can enjoy my life. This feels better. Bigger salary, so I can buy a nicer car. I'll feel better. It's just a pacifier. It's not going to do the job. Only stepping into your power will. Because it's there that we can access the next level. It's there that we stop this endless loop of rerouting. It's exhausting. I don't want to buy another freaking car. I don't want to move again. I don't want to change jobs again. Ugh. What is so wrong with how I am existing? Because it's not what you're being called to do, and you know it. Dang it. Wake up. When are we going to step into this power? When's that going to happen? When are we going to do that work? And I think it's so wonderful that there are assistive tools to help us step into that. And a good prompt for an AI engine would be, whatever your name is, if there's not going to be anything out there for these AIs to kind of scroll the internet, right? Now I can say the things that they are pulling up about me are about 75%. And that feels so much better. This is who I am. And now I got to do work to kind of tie it all together because it's a little loose, but we're at about 75%. So if you want a prompt for this, I am whatever your name is, and I am whatever it is that you want to be. And I would get as descriptive as possible. I am an author living in small town Iowa, helping fellow entrepreneurs grow their lives. I live a very balanced life because of my rural roots. I enjoy spending time with my kids and my family, equally balanced with my work and the expansive nature of what it is that I get to do, connecting my community and working in this life. And whatever that is for you, I am fill in the blank. I am a dynamic banker. I love banking. I love connecting people with opportunities to better their lives. I do that in such a balanced and beautiful way where I can connect with people, but I can also take time to be with my family. And I work for an employer who also values that. And I have a really great balance of travel and life and this passion of helping people improve their lives. So now tell me what that looks like. And let AI write this story about you, about your life, about the fullness of the vision of whoever you want to be. And it's really nice to have that in concrete, because it can kind of, as we read through that, I think we can see ourselves or see the lack of ourselves in who we want to be. And, when I pulled up that Google search bar, I remember being like, this is not who I am. I have done so much more, and I am capable of doing so much more than this. And at that time, we didn't have AI. So I just had to let myself create that vision and start working towards it. And at that point, all I knew was podcaster, author. And I was willing to start working towards that, willing to figure out what that meant and who that was going to be in this new reality. And now I can type into that bar and see this narrative written back to me. And I can find what's true and I can find what's missing. And I can help to bridge those gaps and fill in from there. And if you're having trouble stepping into that power, this is a really great exercise to have it be read back to you. Let it put some words and some reality into who it is that you want to be. Because when you read that back, you'll feel this sense of fullness and warmth and love washing over you, because it is you in your fullest existence. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? You're going to change the world. You're